We have just tipped the escalation ladder one more notch. And let's prepare for the Kalahari dance. Let me tell you what just happened. Israel just targeted the largest LNG gas plant in the world. The South Pass gas field have just been targeted by US. And according to the reports we have, Israel actually took permission from the United States regime before launching this catastrophic strike. And, you know, whichever way anyone is going to see it, it is not something to celebrate because Iran has retaliated by hitting the Laffan gas field in Qatar. Now we have a big box of chaos that is about to open. If you are tired of the energy price escalation right now, the show have not started. See, look, the dance is about to get started. Now, I think this is very, very irresponsible. Even though this is a bloody war, I think this move is extremely irresponsible. Why? Because I feel like the United States is in a situation where you already bought some goods that you didn't bargain for. Let me use that explanation to explain, to make people understand the situation of the United States right now. Everybody call it a war of choice, right? Oh, please, everyone, you can kindly hit the like button. I will appreciate that. Thank you, brother, for coming. Thank you, everyone, for coming. You can just help us by hitting the like button. It helps gets the live up and it reduces censorship. Okay, so you can help us by hitting the like button if you think we offer you any type of value. So thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it. So now what we have right now is that the United States is trying to close the show. I believe a lot of people have heard Steve Witkoff when he came out on X and he said he's trying to reach out to Abbas Arakshi. And Abbas Arakshi categorically denied it, that there is no type of negotiation between both parties. And we have some Iranian generals coming out to say they are not willing to negotiate unless the terms and conditions of Iran be met. This is not, look, if you are someone that loves betting, I'm telling you, going into this conflict, no matter your technical know-how, I can guarantee you that you've lost the belt. Oh, the food was delicious. Thank you so much. You've lost the bet because Iran did not only shock the world, the situation right now is embarrassing. You don't know. See, look, the truth is, the win for Iran here is to survive, whichever way. Iran is a draw or win. America is not just a win or draw. America, see, a draw for America is a defeat. Okay? So for America to even leave the conflict, America cannot leave this conflict through a negotiated settlement from a place of probably a draw or equality. They have to leave from a place of overwhelming superiority. This is how they have to leave the conflict. And everything is not looking like that. So what I feel about this attack, right? Even if I think everything, even more escalation benefits Israel, you won't understand, right? Because the retaliatory strike, Iran has already announced that Saudi Arabia, Qatar, they've already hit Qatar. They're talking about UAE. It was an immediate response. Now, I believe that Israel will gain from a broken, shattered, fractured GCC. Yes, because the aim of Israel is to come out as the power, the supreme power in the Middle East. So, a total escalation that destroys the entire region economically is going to be in the interest of Israel. Because, to be honest with you, Israel is not going to be totally responsible for a sort of rebuild. By the time Israel wants to rebuild their state, don't forget, some of the oligarchs in the United States, some of those capitalists are going to fund. I'm telling you, there is this level of Zionism going on right now that we can't explain. They are going to fund that project. Israel is going to be rebuilt, and it's going to be rebuilt. Part of that money will come from the American taxpayers fund. 100%. Part of that money that is going to be used to build Israel back up is going to come from the Americans. So when I say the United States has in a way bought some goods that they didn't bargain for, this is what we're talking about. Now, if you look at the moves that we are seeing recently, from regime change that wasn't successful, look, nobody is even talking about regime change again. I don't know if you understand. The main bone of contention now, if you study the conflict very well and you have been listening to the news, they are not talking about regime change again. What they are talking about now is Strait of Hormuz. That is where the global concentration is right now, the Strait of Hormuz. You've been hearing things like we've destroyed their military capability 100%. But yet, Iran has just fired a hail of Qaram Shah 4, Quad missile, Kaiba Shekan, Emad missile. I can mention 7 different names. And there is a new name now that they've just said, G missile. They just fired it tonight. And according to what I'm hearing, as at this point, they said all the underground bases, they are completely filled up. So according to the information we have right now, there are no space for drones again. I'm talking about, they talked about long range drones, they talked about short range drones and intermediate. So the way Iran operates right now is very scary. According to the information we are getting right now, there are no spaces. So when you hear that Iran just launched a new capability, it's fresh from, is a bread coming out of the bakery. Hey, the bread is coming out of the oven and they are testing. So the Qaram Shah 4, we've seen the damage the Qaram Shah 4 has created. Now, something very, very shocking happened in Israel yesterday. Now, we're still going to get back to this LNG, right? The Iranians shot their ballistic missile capability to a certain, we were seeing a short range interception. There was no interception that looked like the Arrow 3 was functional. There was no interception that looked like the David Sling was functional. What we noticed yesterday was that majority of the interception was carried out by the Iron Dome, right? So if there is any reasonable interception that you are seeing right now, it's probably the capability that was returned from South Korea. And Iran, they've targeted another long-range radar yesterday in Saudi Arabia, and they targeted another one in Qatar. I don't know if those are American long-range radars, but I can guarantee you those Gulf states, they have nothing when it comes to technology. So it should be an American radar. So that means we're getting to a point where, the US infrastructures, when it comes to military, has been completely wiped out. So, from a strategic standpoint, this is a controlled escalation from the Iranian perspective. So, now because Israel is behind schedule, let me just be very, very clear with you on that. They are behind schedule based on their strategic objective going into this conflict. So, what they are now doing now is assassination attempt. Remember the news they posted this morning? They said everybody is now a target. They said everybody is a target. And guess what? When some of the leadership, like Abbas Arakshi, came out for the burial ceremony of Dr. Ali Larijani and his son, together with the commander of the Basij militia, the locals in Iran, they warned them. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. The locals in Iran, they warned them never to come out until their safety can be guaranteed. According to the information we have, the Iranians are disappointed that they are putting themselves in harm's way like that. Like I said, this is war. Now, the Iranians are trying to show that, the Iranian leadership are trying to show that, look, everywhere is Delta Hotel over here. We don't need to hide. We are not rats. All right. But to me, the guys you are fighting, their methodologies of combat, has nothing to do with you're fighting an honorable fight, you are controlled, no. So I love that move by the Iranian locals to warn their leaders to not just put themselves in harm's way like that. Now, something happened this evening. A lot of Mossad spies, most especially Ramadan has ended. Now you see what happens. Today will mark the beginning of the Operation Python dance. That's what you're about to have now. Don't worry, I'm going to get some areas this evening, right? So what I'm saying now is some Mossad spies have been arrested. And the videos they are out now in the credible public media. If you go to Reuters, you are going to find it. They were arrested. Some of them had guns. I think we noticed that they had Starlink satellites antennas. They had something that looked like a gas cylinder. Then we saw something that looked like a Molotov cocktail, because the bottle had some things that looked like this improvised Molotov cocktail that can So I think Israel is trying to return back to the ab initio, the main regime change plan, which was to put some radical boots on the ground. So according to what we heard, they said an anti-Mossad campaign has been launched all through the Iranian territory. So the mission right now is to capture all the Mossad spies. We said something here some days ago. I think it was in response to the assassination of Ali Larijani. I think before then, we talked about a possibility of heists on the ground. Because without these agents on the ground, the United States and Israel, they have no eyes on the ground. Nothing. So if you look at whatever they've been able to achieve in the past 2 days, the only reason why they've been able to achieve it, okay? The only reason why they've been able to achieve it is because they were getting intels based on espionage, because some of these Mossad spies are Iranians. They are protesters. I was seeing a video on Lord Bebo our family and friends Telegram channel today a short clip of some protesters firing at local police. I don't know if it's in Iran. I don't know if it's in somewhere else. They were inside a car. I think by the time they drive that car for probably 15 minutes, they will be martyred, in my opinion. That's what I think will happen. Protesting in Iran at this point is impossible. I was listening to one of the podcast of Professor Dr. Marandi. He said that they were trying to activate their a sort of assassination attempt on the ground, okay, but it was thwarted. The whole plot was thwarted instantly because of the overwhelming numbers of pro-Iranian protesters that were outside. So it wasn't possible for anything to be done. Now, I think Iran must do their due diligence to make sure that they go all out to find these enemies within. Now, again, let's go back to this conversation of this new escalation by the United States. I think the United States wants out of this conflict. I was listening to a video today, right? Where is it John Bolton? Is it John Bolton? This during the first regime of Donald Trump, there was this advisor he had. Is it John Bolton? He has this mustache, and he's a warmonger, he's a big time warmonger, but he's no longer working with Donald Trump right now. He was talking to the Europeans. Thank you very much. He said the Europeans should not respond to Donald Trump. I mean, that was one of the most embarrassing comments anybody can give. You are a United States official, past or present. For you to say what he just said in that video means that Donald Trump really, really has no level. I'm going to play the video right now. It shows you how those people now see Donald Trump. If Don Bolton can be speaking about the president of the United States like that, man, it shows you that everything is lost. I'm trying to find the video. I'm about to find the video. I mean, when I heard, I was like, wow, the level of disrespect is through the roof. And I think, I don't know. It was talking to the Europeans. He said they should not respond to Donald Trump the way Donald Trump is talking. That is a kindergarten. This is it. But I will say, I think the Europeans, this is the guy. By responding to that kind of juvenile behavior. Look at it. I will say, I think the Europeans make a mistake by responding to that kind of juvenile behavior with juvenile behavior of their own. A number of European leaders, including Kaja Kallas, the European Union's chief foreign policy official, have said expressly, Iran is not our war. That's a very dangerous way to put it, because it invites Donald Trump. It almost teases him to come back and say, well, okay, Iran is not your war. Ukraine is not our war. It's very dangerous to approach Trump in the same way he behaves. So if John Bolton is saying that the words of Donald Trump is juvenile, do you know what that means? Like, what he's saying now is that everything that the president of the United States says is childish. That's what he's saying. He said everything is juvenile and the Europeans should not respond the same way. Let me just tell you what I think. If I am to go by the response of entities like this, I would say, based on the realities in Iran, it is very likely that the United States and Israel, they are not in control of the escalation. They are not. It means The objective of this conflict is out of the window. The think tanks in the United States believe that this is a complete failure. Okay, that is what they think. But there is a probability, based on my prediction, that what these guys are saying is that Donald Trump is someone that is completely detached from reality and he lives in his own world. If you listen to that statement, because this looks like John Bolton is overtly begging the Europeans, like, please don't abandon us. Let me interpret. I might be wrong, I stand to be corrected. If you listen to that statement from John Bolton, this is John Bolton saying, please don't abandon us. Don't take everything Donald Trump is saying with a pinch of salt. His behavior, I'm giving you what he said. His behavior is juvenile. Right? That's what they are saying. He said his behavior is juvenile and you cannot respond the same way. He said if you are responding the same way, that Iran war is not your war. It's like you are saying that, Abi, that Ukraine war is not our war. So now, this is very, very funny. So now this is everything is like these guys are saying that they were funding and they were totally participating in the Ukraine war. So this is John Bolton exposing everything. Yes, that means the war in Ukraine was a unipolar war. The West, let's just put it, let's call it spade a spade. It was NATO, the United States, whatever entity against Russia. Wow, that's huge. That's what John Bolton is saying. So now again, we'll come back to let's come back to what is going on right now. So if United States has control over the situation in the Middle East, economic control, because when people talk about control, control is not just kinetic. Control has a lot to do with economy. Control has a lot to do with manufacturing capability. Control has to do with diplomacy. How many of your allies are ready to go to the kitchen sink with you? So with what I am looking at, the Europeans are saying they are not ready to risk it for the United States in this war of choice. Now, when you look at the perspective of the Europeans, it is not the fact that the Europeans do not want to assist. It's not, that's not the reason. They feel like it's a suicide mission to assist the United States. Because at the end of the day, if something happens and by chance this war ends up in shame, okay, the United States can go back to the West, they can go back to the Western Hemisphere, and because of the complete domination they have over the entire Western Hemisphere, the Venezuelan oil can serve them. But the petrodollar will take a big left hook. But they can go back to the Western Hemisphere and isolate themselves. They are very good at it. But what will happen to Europe? Where is the energy or security of Europe going to come from? With the war they are waging, okay? With the war they are waging against Russia, and Russia now turning towards Asia. So where is that energy security going to come from? So this is Europe for 1 second. From 2025 to 2026, this is Europe for 1 second taking a sovereign decision. Throughout 2025, we did not see nothing like sovereign decision from Europe. So this is the first time we are seeing an independent Europe, saying that we would not risk our sovereignty to please you. Man, this is shocking, right? But again, is Donald Trump helping the United States in this conflict? Let's call a spade a spade. Is the position of Donald Trump, has it been helpful to the United States in this conflict? There was a particular episode in less than 5 seconds. Donald Trump said he is calling on all coalition to come and assist. I think around 15:58 seconds, he said, we don't need anybody. So, like, can we just say that John Bolton is correct? I can't believe this. So the whole Iran campaign is now looking like it's looking like a lost cause. Don't look at it from the kinetic perspective. Look at it from the global. Look at the price of oil. Immediately, Iran retaliated. The price went above 100. I think we are in $120 right now. Let me check. I think we are already in 120. Everybody is about to cough. Okay. So now, according to the information, right? Brent crude oil price surged by 5% to over $108 per barrel. And European gas gas prices jumped by 6 to 7% due to fear of wider energy war. Huh. Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Because the moment the United States hit the Iranian South Park gas field, there was a little jump. Immediately, Iran responded, and there was a successful attack on Qatar's LNG field. Hell broke loose. And I will tell you, by Monday, everybody, this whole Ramadan fiasco is going to kind of calm the whole situation right now. But when Monday arrives, Yoruba will say, it's now 108, it's $108 per barrel. And in some places, the price have jumped through the roof. They've hit Aramco, then it means everybody you pack their container and get set to go. And I don't know what Donald Trump wants. I don't know what Donald Trump is asking from the Europeans, because that would be too much to ask. In my opinion, Europe is already in this conflict. I don't know if anybody understands. This whole kabuki theater is not going to play. You are not going to work. The whole dance is not going to work on us, because Britain is already playing defensive. According to what they said they are playing defensive role. France have already sent their naval frigates. They've sent their aircraft carrier, Charles de Gaulle, and they are already playing defensive. So Turkey, the NATO radar in Turkey, the defense capabilities of NATO in Turkey has been deployed to an extent. So the question now is, what is it that Europe is trying to tell us that we don't understand, that you are not involved? If you are not involved, that means you are not available at all. It's a simple question. Are you involved or you are not involved? I am not. You are involved when you say you are playing defensive, you are not going offensive. Even if they go on the offensive, what difference is it going to make? And the funniest situation right now is, according to the information, this attack was carried out by Israel, but the Israelis are claiming now that they took permission from Donald Trump before this attack happened. Do you know what I think? I think the US cannot even do anything again in this conflict. I think even if they want out of this conflict, the Benjamin Netanyahu regime is going to escalate, and they are going to escalate in the name of the United States. Yeah, we are supposed to be doing things in the name of God, right? But the Israeli regime are going to escalate in the name of the United States. And I don't know what they got on Donald Trump, but Donald Trump is going to come out and say, yes, we bombard, So if Aramco has been hit, and the Qatari plant have been hit, this is going to be a long war. So now the information we are hearing right now is that Iran is now turning the attention, because right now we have the Hezbollah. The Hezbollahs have been able to stop Israel. They've been able to not only stop Israel, but push Israel back from where they have gotten to with their onslaught. They've been able to push them back to their border. Okay? Because what the Israelis have done was they were trying to do what they did in Gaza, which is bring in some Merkava tanks and blow defensive position out of, So what the Hezbollah did was to come with an asymmetric methodology, attacking the tanks. So the casualty on the side of the IDF infantry that have entered Lebanon has been unbelievable. And guess what the Hezbollah did? Iran attacked today, I think, southern Israel and central Israel. 5 minutes after, Hezbollah launched multiple attacks and multiple capabilities penetrated. Now, based on the information we are hearing, they said the Hezbollahs, right, that they even have better capabilities than they are launching right now. If you look at everything that is going on in Lebanon right now, only shows that the main Lebanese military is Hezbollah. There, from now on, after this conflict, I will say the Lebanese military should be cancelled. Okay, it should be Hezbollah right now, because those guys are the deterrents. They are the ones that are making sure that the Lebanese are not, that Lebanon does not turn to the next Gaza. And thanks to Iran, and their destiny is somehow connected. A lot of people were saying, why did Hezbollah enter this conflict? If anything happens to Iran negatively, Hezbollah is done. Yemeni Houthi is done. So these guys are connected to themselves. In Yemen, Ansarullah is the main military. I don't know. I don't know what type of government or military they have in these countries, but it's just so weak, so pathetic. And in Iraq, look at the Iraqi movement. Those guys are doing the unbelievable. So I think when you look at the different proxies, and you look at the level of damage that this coalition is taking, that where majority of the information is being censored. Now let me tell you this. Do you see the attacks that happened yesterday night after the assassination of Ali Larijani? Did you see the attacks that followed? Now, you see what you saw on social media. You saw fire, you saw this substation being destroyed and all of that. Let me just tell you this. Those are the ones they want you to see. Those are the ones that are good enough for your those are the ones that are honorable enough. How about the ones that they believe that you are not supposed to see at all? So we have a situation where Israel has a certain belief that I don't know what that belief is, but they have this belief that it's time. Probably, maybe they believe they will never ever have a US regime that will be ready to compromise to this level. Remember that when Joe Biden was there, they tried to convince Joe Biden, but Joe Biden did not support it. And the Donald Trump regime always called Joe Biden the Sleepy Joe. So if they call Joe Biden the Sleepy Joe, what are we going to call this regime? Where you have entities like John Bolton calling the United States president juvenile. If you are man. So now, this is what I think. Um, I think people are still they are still carrying out their Ramadan fasting. I don't know if it has ended. I don't know what tomorrow will be like. The end of Ramadan would mean that the RGC will have food in their stomach. It means they will have much energy to escalate. It means that people will escalate. You see, you start seeing some level of escalation from today. Hopefully, Ramadan ends today. Hopefully, I don't know if it's ending today or tomorrow, but if it ends today, then we're going to see an all-out war. Okay, and like I said earlier, there is no way out. The United States is ending on Thursday. All right. So till Thursday, we will be seeing measured attack. I think the Iranians are still carrying out their attack based on the principle of reciprocity. You are going to see a real escalation after the Ramadan. I promise you. I Andre is giving you this promise that you are going to see a real escalation after the Ramadan. Every Muslim know what Ramadan is like. They know what Ramadan. You all know what Ramadan means to the Muslims. Moses, you know, when I look at the Shias, the way they carry their religion with honor, and you know, I believe they are measured in their approach because it's Ramadan. So after Ramadan, I will reassess this statement. I believe I might be wrong, but I'm going to come back and give you some real assessment after Ramadan. And we're going to compare and contrast. If the Iranians are still playing the law of reciprocity, or there is a drastic change. Now, the Strait of Hormuz, I don't think it will be opened anytime soon. The fact that Iran is a very big country and they have their military command control scattered all around the whole place, you have capabilities that can fly from anywhere, and they have advanced missiles. I think we've seen their hypersonic capabilities flying only a few times. I think the Fatah 2 flight about one or two. They've been using the Fatah 1. We've seen the Fatah 2, and that speed was absolutely out of mind. It was out of body. So I think what Iran is still doing right now is that they are measured in their escalation. Another thing is, I am predicting that Moitaba Khamenei is not dead. That is my prediction. Moitaba Khamenei is not dead. You all can see how fast the Iranians are bringing out, you know, the news about their martyrs. They have no reason to lie about it. They have no reason to hide. So, from the proof right now, Moitaba Khamenei is not dead. He's somewhere. I've heard from sources, you know, anonymous sources, that is probably in Moscow. I don't know how he got to Moscow. I won't say I believe. They said his legs are injured. Yes, it's very very probable that his legs are, you know, probably he has some bilateral fracture, but we cannot tell his real condition. Okay, and more so, I don't think they will allow him to come out, looking at what has happened to his father and looking at the recent assassination attempt that is currently going on. Unfortunately, there was this news that went viral that the Israelis carried out an assassination attempt on a Basij militia that was sitting under a tree and all of that. Unfortunately, when you use the AI search engine, it shows that it was an AI generated propaganda video. And that was very shocking. The same people that called some people out that they were using AI are the same people. If they are the ones that use the AI, it's a glorious AI, right? It's a glorified propaganda. But if it's the other side is not okay, that is why recently I have not been too interested in this video. If you go on X, you almost lose your mind because the deep fake you have on X is so much that you don't even know which is true or which is false. So I've been following Reuters, I've been following at least some channels that have correspondence on the ground. And if you go by the way, or if you go by way of the reporters on the ground, CNN, BBC, Reuters, even Al Jazeera, you will be shocked that the situation in Israel is, you know, I don't know, but even after the war, okay, we will not be able to know the damage, the extent of the damage in Israel, because I believe that the censorship will still go long after the conflict. After the United States must have been able to bankroll so that Israel can be rebuilt immediately. Because if you look at the support for Israel, okay, if you look at the support for Israel in the United States, this support is on a whole different level. I've never seen how people support like that in my life. You know, the United States leadership. When you listen to someone like Lindsey Graham, you ask yourself, like, what is this? There is this other guy that talks that have been on the Tucker Carlson show. I think he's a US congressman. I'm not talking about Riley Moore. There is this other one. When you listen to that one, he said, God gave us an order to, you know, to fight for the Israelis. To, like, I don't understand what is going on in the US right now. It has never been this bad. I mean, this is the worst. It's not even bad again. This is the worst we've ever seen. And you see, the whole shame, you can see that in the whole of this conflict, people are not really talking about Israel like that. Everybody continues to say United States. United States. Go and find out. Look, even at the end of the conflict, right? The embarrassment is not going to be for Israel. What I think is, whichever way this conflict ends, Israel is going to start having a second thought. What I think is, the United States wants this conflict to end because the economy is going out of control. And either you like it or not, the petrodollar can take a significant knockdown. After the conflict, we might not see the resultant effects now. He said, what's that, we don't know who is taking that position right now. Tinubu, and we don't know who is taking that position actually. We don't, honestly, you cannot even say that Tinubu, you can't argue that Tinubu is taking Ted Cruz. Thank you so much, Ted Cruz. That's the guy. I mean, when you look at the US leadership right now, Nigeria, I'm telling you, Nigerians, we are better. If we have I don't want anybody to abuse Tinubu anymore because, man, Nigeria is doing fine. We are doing great on this side of the because I don't know. Even Tinubu, when he tried to attack Niger Republic, and you know, he discovered that the situation was not going to be palatable, and he was getting advice from his generals that look, this is a very dangerous, mission. He knew when Tinubu understood that okay, we have to fall back at this point. Tinubu still listen. The guy on the other side of the street does not listen to anybody, and is the only one now that believes that the United States is winning this, even though he is asking for help from NATO, from Europe. He continues to insist that they have destroyed their military 100%. Like, guys, this is 2026. Is the AI working? I don't understand. You have destroyed the military 100%, but you need the world to come and open, then police the Strait of Hormuz. Like I said, you see, there is no coalition on there is no coalition that can open that Strait of Hormuz. I am being honest. It will see, you only lose your reputation by trying to go to that Strait of Hormuz and try to open that strait. You will only be disgraced. Because the funny thing about that Strait of Hormuz is, okay, let's even assume you deploy some fast capabilities, right? Fighter jets, helicopters, destroyers, frigates, warship, like whatever, and you have some AG system. Let's say you use everything that you are supposed to use. Those naval ships, whatever, frigate, all of those things. Look, America has the best of all. You see, whatever France has to bring to the table, everybody understands. The reality is that the NATO countries and France, everybody understands that when it comes to the US Navy, it's cream of the crop. And if the US Navy cannot, completely discombobulate, according to Donald Trump, the language is discombobulate. You cannot discombobulate the Iranian, deter, because if you look at the doctrine of the Iranians, Iran does not really have. What I believe is Iran did not invest so much in other military. No, Ansarullah is another big problem that we are not even looking at right now. We'll get to that in some other video. That's a video for another day. You see, the Aegis system, right? They are going to, from ship base is going to come maybe with some area receiver or space receiver and all of that. You see, when those hypersonic in fact, you don't need an hypersonic missile. You just need those short range drones. You need, because the ships are slow. And you know that the launch time of the drones is, so what are they going to use to stop the drones? How many drones will you stop? They have surface to sea base launch that, systems that they can launch, and, they can mine anything. So what are we going to call this bay? Is it Bay of Pigs, or which one are we going to call this one? So what are we going to call it? And like I said, if Iran survives this conflict, Iran wins. Take it to the bank. The funny thing is, I want you to get how embarrassing this is, because a lot of people don't understand how embarrassing this is. This is the United States. Let's be clear. Iran should not stand a 48 hours chance. Let us compound it for you. Iran should not stand, right? They start launching from Benin. I've heard that. I've heard this one too. That they are launching from Benin the sea, right? I've heard this too. In fact, there was a situation today where we saw this certain image that they brought out this speedboat and all of that, and they destroyed one of the tankers. In fact, it's so bad that once you start your tanker, It is not when your tankers start moving towards the Strait of Hormuz. Once you start it without authorization, they blow it off. So the thing is, to stop Iran in this conflict, there is no Aegis radar system, because the Aegis radar system is on the frigates, and it has this shape, and it's going to see, probably it's going to see, but it's not going to be able to stop it. Whatever is coming is going to be suicidal. It's going to be a complete disgrace. And the reason why this is shameful, I'm sorry if I'm using that language, is because, let me give you the total clue. Let me give you this clue very well. It's like you don't understand. The US is completely involved in this conflict. There is nothing like the US is partially, the US is totally involved in the conflict. The only reason why you are not seeing boots on the ground is because the condition for a boots on the ground is not perfect. You have to gain a very, the air superiority condition for a boot on the ground have to be well established. So it's not established, you can't have boots on the ground. So it's not like the United States don't want to put boots on the ground. They cannot put boots on the ground because the conditions, and how many boots are you going to put on the ground? If you're going to put on the boot on the ground, you're going to bring in your best. It's going to be your most experienced boots. Now it comes to time of operation. How long are they going to be there? The logistics. How are you going to supply them against a united Iran, where you've bombed families, you've bombed relatives, you've bombed children? You see, fighting, you are going to be fighting in the most hostile environment against a more superior military. A more superior. What I'm saying is, when it comes to experience, the US forces have not experienced this type of military in the last, probably, let's say, 15 years. They've not fought any military that is this strong in the last 15 years. This is a real military. This is not, they have their normal military and they have the IRGC. And you have the citizens. Probably you get shot, you are injured. The citizens are not even going to allow you to escape. So Iran, see, in this situation, Iran would not even need the Chinese satellites to locate whoever. The locals will be there all day long. And do you know what will make the situation worse? To avoid collateral damage, you can only launch limited strikes in this situation because you don't even know where they're going to come out from. It can be close combat. It can be, the combat can happen from impossible. These guys are not, they are not even, see, Iran is so big and the territory is not even familiar to the US forces. Yes, they've been in Qatar, they've been in Saudi Arabia, they've not been in Iran. Have you seen the terrain of Iran? Where are they going to come from? So I was watching a video where the Baluk militia, they actually attacked the Pakistani border guards and they killed all those Pakistani border guards. They killed everything, everybody. What did I learn from that video? I think the capability of an ordinary Iranian is even something we are not even looking at. So if they mobilize, there is a probability that more Iranian citizens will want to join the fight. So for whatever reason, my simple opinion at this point is, I think it will be in the best interest of the United States to avoid a major escalation. Now, I think the United States wants to avoid this escalation. They can't be fighting war and the World Cup should be going on. So for whatever reason, we are not going to have a long conflict. Iran is prepared for a long conflict. So the question is, how much can the world, first of all, you have to consider the world, not just Donald Trump. How much can the world take? How much are we, how much are we ready to take? before we wave that white flag. See, look, US is coming with their air force, they are bombing. Yeah, you are bombing. But I can tell you, if I have to give them credit, I would say Ali Larijani is the second critical figure, important key figure that they've been able to take out. But he said he's done already. I am also done. I'm knocked out already. My account is empty on gas alone. And you have a situation in my country right now where the people selling fuel, they are now ordering the fuel. So if I show you the video across the street now, everywhere is complete darkness. So the thing is, this war, we don't want it anymore. we are not, look, anybody supporting, I don't care what the public opinion is with Iran, because we are all on the shock hold already. So the next question is, how much is the United States willing to spend? Do you know how much they spent on the first 2 days of this conflict? And the reason why they spent that money was because Iran jumped out of the blocks. Guns are blazing, right? That was what Iran did. Now, the funny aspect is, I heard some pro-Western this thing say, "Yeah, we are going to adapt. We are going to." You are not adapting, fam. You are not adapting in this conflict. A lot of people have the opportunity to speak on big platform, but they're not given the real game. How do you mean you are going to adapt? Where are you going to? Where is the replacement of those radars going to come from? You are not replacing the radars. It's not about your money. It's about the fact that you don't have refining, you don't have control of the supply chain of the necessary key rare earth minerals, the high performance magnets. You don't have control over those strategic capabilities to be able to build your high performing radar. The third radar is not just any radar. Those intercepts you are seeing, those intercepts you are seeing, they are not ordinary intercepts. Things were put in place, they were put together. That was why, and it doesn't affect the radar alone. Your Lockheed Martin aircraft. So for every aircraft you lose, you are going to, whatever you produce now, I don't know what stockpile of rare earth, refined rare earth material that the United States have, but whatever you are producing now, because you want to manage, is substandard when it comes to military hardware and capability now. Probably your equipment that should take one shot or probably 4 shots before it gets knocked out. We take half a shot right now and we'll be gone. There was a video last night. I want to show you the performance of an Iron Dome. After shots came in from the Lebanese territory, it was, in fact, it was a complete show of, this was Reuters. That's the Iron Dome. That's Reuters. Are you seeing what the Iron Dome is doing? The defensive capability is self-destructing. Look, even when you are on the defense, there is so much you can, there is a level you are going to get to. Your body is going to disobey the commands of the brain. That is why you have some situations where fighters still want to continue the fight, but the legs are wobbling because the body can no longer, coordinate with the central processor. So if the Iron Dome is behaving like that, that means Those barrage that continue to enter, and they continue to tell you that they've 100% destroyed the launchers and everything. You can see that's a whole lot of interceptors wasted. That's Reuters giving you the information. At least it's not me. Zaxis will tell the US general. So honestly, I don't want to laugh, but this situation is laughable. I honestly, I won't like to. I don't like this at all. But this situation, because if it's just the United States and Iran, we can analyze. We can analyze with so much pride, and but this is not just Iran. Iran Iran is a non-nuclear state. Do you know what we are talking about here? Iran is a non-nuclear state, right? A non-nuclear state anchoring the program for Israel, a nuclear state, United States, a nuclear state, Saudi Arabia, a so-called power, right? Qatar, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, Jordan, like even Oman got served at some point. What are we talking? So if this conflict ends with a negotiated, whatever negotiated settlement at this point, it's not a win or draw. It's a lose for the United States. Iran is going to run away with the victory. That is what it means. And that is why you are seeing threats. That's why you are seeing someone trying to escalate. And to them, their understanding of this escalation is like, we are trying to threaten them to surrender, because they are not connected to reality. You destroy this individual, are you aware that there is another replacement? There is another replacement for Ali Larijani already. Have you not heard? So now when we are going to talk about this conflict, by the time this war is over, so how are we going to explain for those people that have watched Hollywood movie to the point that they don't know they don't know what world they live in anymore? So how are you going to tell this story? I heard a lot of stories. I heard about World War One. I heard about World War Two. I wasn't there, right? This is a huge conflict here. So you lost the war in so this is going to be like you lost the war in Ukraine. Now you are about to lose the war in Iran, right? Because this is going to be like a defeat. Now let me wrap it all up. This is looking like Hitler. I don't know if you get it. So it will be in our interest for this conflict to end. This is looking like Hitler. Remember, before, that spirit of hubris entered Adolf Hitler, because that is what happens to every leader of empires. Okay, before the fall, they are going to enjoy a certain black order. They are going to enjoy a certain victory lap. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Before Hitler launched that campaign into Moscow, right? Where the whole thing ended. Hitler surrendered France in 2 weeks. Hitler, right, surrendered France in 2 weeks. And Marshal Zhukov of Russia said, you only get that level of surrender from bastards. I'm sorry to use that word. That was what Marshal Zhukov of Russia said. 2 weeks. That was the time of surrender for France, right? The great Adolf Hitler. Now, he launched that campaign into Russia. And don't forget, you don't judge conflict by what you cannot judge conflict the way you are seeing things, because right inside Russia, it got to a point. The Germans said they were calculating their victory by bodies, not by square kilometers. They were calculating the territorial gain by bodies of Russians. And guess what? When the calculus of combat turned, it was too late. Retreat was too late. So now we're having a situation where, and this one is not even, this particular conflict is not even looking like that of Russia, because you are already the counter punches are already coming back from the from, do you know, strategically, if you look at this from the military standpoint, Iran has destroyed a lot of long range radar system, destroyed, you know, some naval assets, destroyed some of the embassies of the United States, destroyed. Yes, now look at the embassy of the United States in Iraq, right? The ones in Bahrain, the forward bases, they've lost troops. Um, interceptors are out completely, to the point that they went to South Korea, packed everything they had, right? Even if South Korea told them, the South Korean government told them that we don't want you to take this away, they packed everything and brought it back for Israel to make sure they, this same conflict, prayer warriors have gathered to pray for the president of the United States. This same conflict, though, that the Chinese started making, you know, they started making videos about this. This very same conflict, we are hearing that they're about to, you know, launch a $50 billion war chest to support the president. And I feel like with the intensity of this war, it will take you nothing to destroy the entire amount of money they will be able to give them. So what happens after that? I think economically the war is already becoming very costly. Imagine flying an F-35. Do you know how long it will cost to maintain an F-35 Lockheed Martin fighter jet after you scramble it and you send it for a 24 hours operation? It's more than a week. So you see, this is a costly war, and that is the definition of attrition. You make it extremely costly, and you can take it to the bank. The best of the United States and our allies, they are already helping. Don't forget, though, they are already helping actively against Iran and what the West called militant groups. So, what of just if there is a change in this escalation, it touch him, and it touched me, and you know, somebody like China enters this conflict or Russia enters the conflict, what will happen? So that's the $1 billion question we should be asking. This is just Iran. And Iran has said something now today. They said after this conflict, the Strait of Hormuz will not work by the same regulations again. The de-dollarization is here. You see, when people start begging you as a kingpin, right? Let me call the United States a kingpin now, right? When people start telling you, no, don't do it. Don't, when people start begging you, it's very, very important. You just, you know, you just behave like a big boy and like, okay, everybody cease fire and just, you know. Imagine that the United States followed through with that negotiation. Do you know that Iran was ready to make concessions to the point that the Iranians said that they will allow the United States team to come and, you know, observe their nuclear program? What other respect would you be asking for? They were ready to make that level of concession. Abbas Arakchi, did you hear what he said? So he said he doesn't know if it's Steve Witkoff that went to lie to Donald Trump, or maybe the president of the United States changed the entire narrative. And now it was Iran that was asking for a negotiation at first. But now we are at the point where Steve Witkoff is saying that they want to begin a new negotiation with Iran. And the Iranians are saying, we don't want to have a negotiation. Matter of fact, we are prepared for this conflict for the next 10 years. We will see. And let me just give you let me give some people the last piece of advice. Ali Larijani is not the main guy. Iran cannot be destroyed because I don't know if a lot of people understand what is going on in Iran. Iran cannot be submissioned. Ali Larijani is not the guy. Ayatollah Khamenei is not the guy. Take Abbas Arakchi out of the picture. You have not still captured Iran. What of the guys that are making the missiles? Do you know how many scientists, how many physicists, how many mathematicians? I heard something today and my head almost blew. I heard that in Iran, majority of the population are PhD holders. See, the Persian Empire story is real. The legend of the Persian Empire is real. I was the guy that was telling me was more than 20% of the population are PhD in mathematics. Do you know how intelligent you have to be? So you can actually get this from the number of capabilities they are 95 are PhD. Thank you. You can see this from the type of missiles they are producing independently. Man, we are we are going to be in this dance till all the cows come home. Now imagine a country where 95% of the citizens are PhD holders. It means that you have is competence to competence. And the problem is when you start touching up the escalation ladder and power is beginning to maneuver and change hands, you don't know when it will get to the hands of your worst nightmare. It is, I think the way Donald Trump calculated this conflict was, these are the best of the Iranians. They knocked out how many generals, how many commanders in the last operation? At the end of this conflict, Iran will be untouchable after this conflict. If they are already taking their missile range beyond 2,000 kilometers, it means that the fatwa of Ayatollah Khamenei is dead. Dr. Ali Larijani, can you imagine, in 1979, okay? Now, Dr. Ali Larijani, one of the guys that made sure, very educated, very, you've taken out those guys. These are the guys that ensured that Iran was calculated, Iran was civil, Iran was well behaved. According to the information we are hearing now, you now have the younger generation, which are hardliners, taking charge. For me, I think the way this war ends, okay, is for America to now look for a way to get out of this conflict now. And I think they probably were looking for a way out of the conflict, and Israel carried out, Israel touched up that oil plant again. That look, you are not going to leave us alone. That's what we have right now. Israel carried out that bombing mission, and they said they took they took the orders from Donald Trump. So either the US like it or not, you will support Israel till the cows, till all the cows return home. That's what we have right now. Either you like it or not, you are in this tragedy together. You are in this dance together. This Zionism that you don't want to accept. It has come to the point where you have to so if they go into the mud, don't worry, it's going to everywhere is going to be covered in dirt. That's what they are doing now. Because if you look at the way the news came out, the Zionists said they have struck this, and when they killed Ali Larijani, the Israelis said, the United States, the United Nations Security Council actually placed him on this and that. We did it for them for free. This is Israel trying to drag everybody into the conflict. That's what Israel is doing now. So you can see that Israel even came to Ghana. They got to Ghana, they were telling the Ghanaian regime to show support, overwhelming support for Israel. Man, look, what God cannot do does not exist. So this whole campaign even got to Ghana. So, that's Ghana, a distant non-neighbor. Are you aware that it was the Israeli strike that, injured some Ghanaian soldiers in Lebanon? And still the audacity to come to Ghana and tell them, you must join this conflict. If they can do that, right? That means the United States, you are going nowhere. You started this together. Yeah. I'm sorry, that is how it's going to end. Whatever Israel do now, they will tell you that they are doing it in the name of the United States. Can somebody shout amen? So whenever Donald Trump cannot end the conflict now. It has to be when Netanyahu has taken enough beating. That is where the conflict will end. That is when we will start seeing the end of the conflict. I think the United States are already preparing to get, they are already ready to pack their bags and get out of the conflict, right? Because it's already becoming more expensive. But Israel is saying, no, you go nowhere. We started this together and we are going to end it together. This is my opinion. I could be wrong. Donald Trump wants the conflict to end. But Israel is saying, no, we are going to drag this until all the cows return home. None is going to be left behind. So we were talking about the end of the conflict. I said, no, we've been able to destroy their LNG plant, but we took permission from Donald Trump. Can you imagine? And on the first day of this conflict, the Israelis were the first to strike Ayatollah Khamenei. And what did they say? We did it in collaboration with the US. They carried out the strike. Like it was a unilateral decision. It was after the strike, Israel informed, we've done it. I think the US, they were still trying to make preparations and all of that. But Israel, this Epstein, you are not getting out of this. This Epstein file, you are not going to escape this Epstein. So I think, the Epstein, the Epstein principle have been activated full time. There is no getting out of this. We will see what happens tomorrow. We'll see if there is a change. We'll see what happens. We'll see. I want to see what Donald Trump will say concerning this strike, because I've seen one of his tweets where he said the next person to hit an LNG or an oil facility, he said something. I think Donald Trump was angry, but you are you are not getting out of this. You are not getting out of it. It's an epic failure. Everybody have accepted. Just get us out of this mess. But Israel is now saying, you see, you are not and I think the problem now is that the US does not want to exit the conflict in a way that their reputation is going to be stained. No. The US wants to exit the conflict in a good light. Right? They want to exit the conflict in a way that at least they're going to be able to still keep their reputation. But I think Israel is trying to make sure that So far, you are spot on. Thank you so much. We are the VDP communicators of the Alliance of Sahel States. This is the Android community. You are welcome to the Android community. Actually, we love everyone. We are anti-war, but we are always backing the depressed, and that is why we are that's why we're supporting Iran today. But for whatever reason, we want this war to end for the sake of the global peace. Everybody's pocket is touching everyone right now, and we want this conflict to end. Everybody should wave the white flag. Peace deal, peace deal. Hello. We want to you see what Donald Trump will say once the conflict ends. I was able to crush their military beyond normal. We are going to see all of that. We are going to see all of that. But someone will suffer. Europe will suffer. In fact, Donald Trump, Europe should prepare for that Greenland. You see that Greenland. Donald Trump will now he will take see the next war is not Turkey. The next battle is for Greenland. By the time America reload their stockpile of interceptors, man, the next battleground is Europe. The fact that Donald Trump called you and you did not support him to open this Strait of Hormuz, if this conflict ends, I can bet it with you, Donald Trump will never, right? He will never forgive Europe. He will not forget everybody. If I am one of the European president, I'm telling you, I'm going to be dancing from left to right now, because you are going to get it. It's not going to see this war is not going to be about Iran again. Once those interceptors are complete, go and write it down. They will not resume. They will not resume back to Iran. It will be a confront. It will be an all-out conflict with Europe. That Greenland, they will not take it by diplomacy. And by now, I can guarantee you, they will take Greenland. For whatever reason, it's been a long time you have been supporting, you've been supporting conflict, right? This one will be the end of it. The Greenland is going to consolidate. They are going to take Greenland. Take it or leave it. So, families, I want to appreciate you for coming. And sorry that I took too much of your time. I really love talking to you. Daddy won't do that. I really, really appreciate everyone for coming. I hope it was fun. We don't just do analysis here. We try to put a little bit of humor and all of that. So I hope I've been able to give you some value at the same time. I hope I've been able to make you laugh. Thank you and God bless you. Salute.